Good morning and welcome to Maine SBDC's presentation of Holiday Prep Marketing for Your Service Business. Good to know that the 2020 holiday forecast just came out, and some of the highlights are that we're going to see a 4.5% increase in retail sales this year. That's going to be one of the busiest seasons yet. It's also going to start a little bit earlier this year than it has in the past. So this is pretty much a timely webinar that we're having today. My name is Chris Cole, and I will be your host for this webinar. I'm a certified business advisor, and I cover Cumberland and York counties. And there's my contact information. And overall, the SBDCs, we have 14 advisors covering the entire state. And what we do is we provide no-cost confidential business advising. We've been doing this for over 45 years. I personally haven't been here for 45 years. I actually have been a client of the Maine SBDC for almost 30 years. I've owned a few businesses, so I really appreciate what the Maine SBDC can do for a business owner and the services that we provide. I'm really happy that I was able to join this team as well. So some of the things that we don't do is we're not accountants and we're not attorneys. So when it comes to tax advice and legal advice, we're going to defer to the experts on that. You can meet with your advisor either in person or virtually, and we have advisors that might have an area of expertise, and excuse me, you can meet with that advisor as well as your regular advisor. We try to cover all kinds of businesses. Just some housekeeping items. Let me know what business that you're in. Just throw it in the chat. And if you could keep yourself on mute, that would be great. We're going to have a little discussion at the end. And also, this presentation will be emailed to you within a few days. And you'll have a link to our YouTube channel of the presentation along with a copy of the slides. So our agenda, we're going to go over what service-based business is. We'll talk a little bit about your value proposition and how relationships are really key. Talk about setting your business goals, and I'll explain pumpkin everything. And then we're going to discuss just some strategies and tips for you to be able to use this holiday season. So according to Philip Kotler, and he's a marketing guru, he's pretty well known in business, he says that every business is a service business and it should intend to provide a smile on a customer's face. I know doing yoga for me, that puts a smile on my face. So what kind of businesses are service-based businesses? We have things like massage therapy, lessons, right? People are totally into learning about cooking or music or something different. And then, excuse me, we also have like experiences, getting on the beer bus or doing a kayak trip, things like that. Those are all considered service-based businesses, along with food businesses are also, you're providing a service, and many other. We can go into, accountants, tradespeople, those are all service-based businesses. So pretty much encompasses a lot. And when it comes to your value proposition, this basically means that it's the end benefit that your customer receives after purchasing your product or using your service. So as a business owner, what you're doing is you're fulfilling a need, you're solving a problem, or you're fixing a pain point for a customer. And this is totally customer related. It's different than your mission statement. It's really about what the customer is going to gain by using your service. If you're a catering business, right, your value proposition is the need might be an office manager has to put together an event, the office party, the holiday party, and the boss wants to have really good food. They don't want to have just the Hannaford trays or some kind of takeout. They don't want to go to a restaurant, might be too big of a crowd, but something in-house. So you provide a solution for that by catering the event, being able to give good, wholesome, delicious food. And what's your competitive advantage as a caterer? excuse me, maybe you are able to have a variety of items and satisfy everybody needs, right? Maybe you specialize in vegan and vegetarian or gluten-free, or you do something a little bit different, like an oyster raw bar, something that people can't get just everywhere. That is what your competitive advantage might be. And when we talk about your competitive advantage and competing with other people, we really want to compete on the value of your business and not the price. People are more inclined to purchase something if they believe that it has a value and not that it's discounted. So people, even though, discounting, it seems like you're going to get more sales, but in the end, unless your product has good value, that you're not going to sustain those sales. And being able to identify what your value is knowing your strengths. So for instance, if your service business is being a Maine guide, and we have a lot of guides in this state that provide a wonderful service, right? Get people outdoors. So maybe your specialization in this service, your strength is that you're a fly fishing guide. And how do you highlight your value? And is by sharing your experience and your knowledge. So you're a fly fishing guide, you take people to areas that where the trout are running, where they can get a good catch and enjoy the environment. And maybe you're somebody like my colleague who has a degree in biology, and to be able to flip over the rocks and see what type of insects the fish are going for in that area, and also share your knowledge of nature in general, and what makes that place special. And when you do things like that, you really make a connection with your customers and your clients. And this is part of relationship building. So the way that we build relationships is you want to be able to exceed people's expectations, build trust. And trust is the first pillar of being able to have a relationship with your customers. Trust is the leading factor while consumers purchase your product. And this is a long-term commitment when you're in business. So you need to be consistent with that. And you need to make a personal connection with your customers. 40% of consumers say that they'll purchase again after a personalized shopping experience. And how do you do that? It's when you meet your customers, getting to know them on a personal level, or when you communicate with them. You don't want to always be selling to them. You want to let them know about a new feature or benefit of your product or service. And retaining your customers, that very first sale that you make to that customer, that should just be the beginning of your relationship. It is so much easier to sell to existing customers than it is to go out and get new customers, right? And people that like you are going to refer your services to other people. You want to exceed expectation here. So for instance, one of the businesses that I still have is I have an Airbnb. And the way I exceed expectations for my customers is, they expect when they come to an Airbnb that they're going to have a clean place to stay, fresh linens, towels. Maybe the kitchen has some items like coffee and tea and salt and pepper, things like that. But how I exceed their expectation is I leave them a personalized handwritten note. And how I personalize that note is usually there's an interaction. When you book an Airbnb, people will probably tell you why they're coming to the area or what they're excited about seeing. In some cases, they might actually be coming because of a funeral, which has happened a couple times this year for my people coming to the Airbnb. So I try to remember those things and address them in my note to them, like, I'm really sorry for your loss. Or if they're looking forward to something like the Cabbage Island Clam Bake or Windjammer Days or something like that, I'll mention that in that personalized note. The thing that exceeds their expectations beyond the fact that I left a handwritten note is that I also leave bottles of Poland Spring water in the refrigerator for them when they get there, a box of wood out by the fire pit for their use. And I also give them gluten-free, locally made granola. These are the things that my guests most talk about when they give reviews, or when they interact with me directly. And by doing that, it builds loyalty with them. They're going to come back. When they come back to the area, they're going to want to stay with me. And you can have loyalty programs. They've been around for a long time, right? We know that punch cards are, excuse me, something that most businesses use on a regular basis. In my area, there's an ice cream shop, and thank God that they're only open from Mother's Day to Labor Day, or I'd have to get new clothes on a regular basis. But anyways, when I want an ice cream in the summertime, I'm going to go to them because I have a punch card. And after so many punches, I get a free ice cream. So that I'm loyal to their business, and that's a program they use. Or if you're a yoga instructor, maybe your regular classes are $20 per class for drop-in, but if somebody signs up for 10 classes, maybe you charge them $15 for that 10 class session. That creates a habit, but it also builds loyalty with your customer. And who is your customer? This is really key. We know what we want to do and what we want to deliver, but who are we delivering it to? This is something that SBDC advisors can help you do some research on. We have analytics on it, and we have industry reports that are able to help you identify it. But you as a business owner, most likely already know who your customer is. You can probably identify that person right off. When I had a restaurant, it was a cafe and bakery. I could tell you when I first bought that place, my customers tended to be the early morning customers were older gentlemen that were retired. A lot of them were widowers and they lived in the area. In the afternoon, I had tradespeople, electricians, plumbers, service people working in the area, blue collars. Mostly my clients, my customers lived locally, and they were really involved in the community. They went to the sports activities, things like that. So that taught me some things about my customers and also how I could reach them. In my case, the way I reached my customers was through print media, which was really big. This was in the early 2000s. It was still popular. I also did some social media through Facebook, emails, not so much in my case. So as a business owner, figuring out which one of these resources or all of them, how to utilize all of them to reach your customers. This time of year, traditional media, they have a lot of inventory and they're willing to offer deals for businesses, even if it's a short-term marketing campaign for your business. I know for a fact that like television stations will help you produce a commercial, or radio stations. And they all have websites and digital assets to carry over. So you can be on their television station, but you can also be advertising on their website, and they'll give you a good deal. When you use social media, we think social media is no cost whatsoever or low cost, but it's really which social media are you going to use to target your audience. If your customer is a Gen Zer, they're not going to be on Facebook most likely. Most likely they're going to be on TikTok, right? So if you know that's who your customer is, then you're going to want to focus your campaign on that social media platform. And then personalizing email, this is really important. It goes back to that connection that you have with your customer. So again, you don't always want to be selling them something. You want to just check in with them, give them a tip or a trick, a new idea, maybe talk about a new feature that your service has or your product has. After we've identified our customers, who they are, how we can build relationships, then we want to set goals for our holiday season business. And your goal might be to increase the number of customers that you have, so your market share, your reach. Or you might want to increase sales, and that is to be able to have some more value-added products that or services that your customers are going to buy. And December is not always a big selling month for every single business. So as I said, I had a bakery before, and a matter of fact, November was my biggest time to make sales for my product, right? Pie season. We made a ton of Thanksgiving pies. So my bakery sales in November were much higher in December. But what I did in December was I sold gift cards, and lots of them. People loved them for stocking stuffers. And we know that those gift cards are going to come back in the future. And when they do, customers spend more than the face value of of the gift card. So in the future, you're going to get a good return. If you sell a $10 gift card, most likely the customer receiving that is going to spend $15 or more with you. And overall, your strategy should be for the entire year when we're looking at a marketing strategies, because holidays don't happen just in December. Excuse me, they happen the entire year. I think every month of the year there's some type of holiday, except for August. I was thinking about this morning. I could not find a holiday in August, but somebody can correct me. But it seems like there's some type of holiday every single month. And one of the links that I provide in this webinar at the end is to a marketing calendar. So it's a year-round calendar, and you can just put in things, little notes, like if you are a chocolate business, Valentine's Day and Easter, those are big holidays for you. So you want to be prepared for those, because once a holiday is over, once that time of season is over, people are done, right? Pumpkin, everything. It's the biggest thing right now. The end of September, beginning of October, the entire month of October, you can get pumpkin flavored anything. You can even get a pumpkin facial. You can get a pumpkin wax, buy pumpkin candles, and of course, food, any kind of food, pumpkin flavor. But when people are done with pumpkin season, they've moved on. So you have to be prepared for pumpkin season. Maine Maple Sundae has become, really big in this state. It used to just be on Sundays, and I served Coffee by Design coffee in my restaurant. And Coffee by Design came out with a Maine Maple Sundae coffee just in time for Maine Maple Sundae weekend. And I retailed bags of the coffee as well as brewing and selling it in-house. So I bought half dozen bags, sold them right off on that Sunday. And I thought, wow, people love this flavor. I need to get more of it. So the next week I bought a dozen bags, didn't sell. I think maybe I sold one or two after that, right? And then the rest I ended up having to brew and then, serve for the flavor of the day, which nobody really wanted maple because maple season had passed. And basically, I think I gave the rest to my staff. Had I had 18 bags on Maine Maple Sundae, I probably could have sold them all. And it's the same with this type of season, right? You have to be prepared for the sales now, and market to your clients now. And how do we do that? We need consistency in our messaging. So on your website, your hours should be the same as on your Google business page, and any updates and promotions that you're doing across all your platforms should be consistent. And if you don't have a Google business page, it's free and it's something that your business should do. I put a link to our YouTube channel, which in that there's a bunch of videos about marketing, but there's a video about setting up your Google business page. It's really important that you do that, because we know that customers go on review. Everything is stars, right? So you're going to go look at a restaurant, you want to see how many stars they have. You're going to go look at a massage therapist, you're going to see how many stars they have. And if they don't have any, or if they have very few, you're probably going to move on to the next. So having your Google business page is really important. And ways that you can do some of your ad campaign is by getting free media. So what do I mean by free media? We used to do press releases, right? And send them to the newspapers or send them to the television stations to see, maybe somebody would be interested in what it is that we're doing. Nowadays, you send out an email to those people to reach them. And some of the things that you can do that will attract media attention is being involved in a community activity or hosting a fundraiser. I've seen lots of times people that do tattoos. They might, for breast cancer awareness, right? Tattoo artists that, sell the pink ribbon tattoo for like $100 to get that. And then all the proceeds go to breast cancer awareness. Those are human interest stories that the media, they want to come and highlight them, right? It's feel good stories, and the news doesn't always want to be bad. So they want to have feel good stories. And then we have programs like 207. And I think in the state of Maine, that's like kind of a gold nugget program to get onto. So, what are some of the things that you can do to reach these media outlets that will get you, some free media? And the other thing that you want to think about is partnering. So in your business, maybe you are in a shopping mall and there are other businesses in that shopping mall that you're in. Maybe you can get together and do some type of block party, or do some co-advertising for your mall. And then also, if you have businesses that you share the same customer base, right? Maybe you can do some referral work. For instance, somebody who's a hairdresser, maybe they have a relationship with an anesthetician, right? So you're going to refer that person if they want a spa treatment, a facial. And you want to build those networks. And this is not just for the holiday season, but this is an ongoing basis. You want to build and expand your networks. And some of the ways you do that is going to business groups and clubs, like the Lions Club, Rotary clubs, the Chamber of Commerce. And lots of times your local clubs, they like to have an outside speaker come in and present. So that might be an opportunity for you to share what your business is, and a way to make connection on a regular basis and be part of your community. So some of the promotions that we can do within your business that aren't going to cost you anything or very little is maybe, have your manufacturer give you samples that you can give out to your clients. Have somebody sponsor a product giveaway. So whenever we would do some type of event, I would reach out to Coffee by Design and say, hey, would you want to do some complimentary coffee for this event, right? It didn't cost me anything. They provided the coffee. And a matter of fact, they provided the cups. And, it was great because my customers got something for free and I didn't have to pay for it. Have a costume contest. Those are always fun. And then private invitation events. This is something where your customers feel like this is really an exclusive thing that I'm part of. The Hallmark at Northgate, I used to go to on a regular basis, and every year they did a holiday event. It was a private party. You'd get a postcard in the mail, and it was really for their loyal customers. It was fun, and I looked forward to it every year, right? So something like that. And of course, they have wine and cheese and coffee and desserts, but get you in the mood, get you in the spirit, and then you spend some money. So it's a win-win. A customer appreciation day, that's something where you open your doors for all your customers. And again, you can provide food or giveaways, things like that. When it comes to our holidays, we want to decorate, celebrate, and wrap it up. So that window there we're looking at, right? I would say I absolutely want to go into that store. I don't know what they're selling, but I want to go into it because it's fall, it's that time of year, and they have items that I probably want to purchase, but enticing me in the door. So you want to decorate for the holidays, right? And you also want to be able to have your products gift wrap available. So if you have, anything that you can possibly put in a gift item or even just put a bow on, right? For our gift cards that people use for stocking stuffers, I had different envelopes that people could check, check in and be able to use, and they can decide what they want for a gift card envelope, or like I said, or a bow or a ribbon, something like that. And here are some resources that you can use, and links to it. And like I said, our YouTube channel has a lot of really informative videos when it comes to marketing. And again, our advisors are here for you, and they're able to help you with your marketing programs, identifying your customers, creating your budget. These are all the things that you want to do towards being prepared for a marketing plan of any kind, not just the holiday season. So I want to thank everybody for being here.